Okay, Assalamualaikum. So now we are going into function of three variables. So before this, you have learned on function of two variables. So let's recall back. Okay, let's recall back. So if we have a function of two variables, okay, if you have function of two variables, what you're gonna have is you're gonna have z is equal to fxy. Since you have two functions, right? Two variables, right? Sorry. So you have two variable only. So what we're gonna have is you're gonna have a level curve. And another one is you're gonna have a surface. A surface. So now we are going into what if we have function of three variables. So function of three variables. So you're gonna have, okay, w is equal to f x y z, and you're gonna have a level surface. Okay, you're gonna have a level surface. All right. So basically, if you have a function of one variable, we will have a 2D space. Okay, if you have function of two variables, so we're gonna have a 3D space. And if you have function of three variables, we will have a 4D space. All right, but then 4D space is very difficult to visualize the graph. Okay, so what we can do is we can draw the level surfaces of the graph. Okay, so that it ascertain the properties and behavior of function of three variables. So it's very difficult to visualize the graph of 4D space. So that's why we do level surfaces. Okay, level surfaces. Okay, so about the domain and also the range. So to find the domain and also the range, it is the same thing as to find the domain and the range for function of two variables. Okay, so now let's see what is level surfaces. Okay, what is level surfaces? So for level surfaces, okay, the graph gonna have three variables. So we're gonna have a function of w is equal to fxy, fxyz. Okay, then so we will plot the graph of the level surfaces. Plotting graph of the level surface of function c is equal to fxyz, where c is a constant. All right, c is a constant. So we're gonna have a different values of constants. So f is equal to c for different choices of the constant c. Okay, so before this we have level curves. So much as level curves do for function of two variables, so same goes to the level surfaces here. Okay, same goes to the level surfaces here. All right, let's go to the questions here. Okay, so given here fxyz is equal to this one. Okay, as you can see here, you have three variables. So because in the questions they will not mention that this is function of two variables, this is function of three variables, you need to identify yourself. So how to identify? You see how many variables they give you in that function. So here in these questions we have variable x, variable y, and also variable z. So that means this is function of three variables. Okay, so for the first one, they ask you to find the domain and also the range. This is the sequence of the questions. For the first question, they will ask you to find what is the domain and the range of the function. Okay, so now we're gonna find the domain first. So for the domain, all right, domain. So the variable that we have is x, y, and also z. Okay, x, y, and also z. So means that the domain of the function we can write as x, y, z. Okay, you see that the variable of x is x squared, y is y squared, and z is also z squared. And this function does not have the restriction. Okay, does not have the restriction. So meaning that this variable is element of real numbers. Okay. Alright, now we want to find the range. For the range, okay, so how to find the range? We already find the domain. So let's see this one. So we have x minus 3 squared. So means that this value, since this is a square, not square values, so it must be greater than equal to 0. So next we have y squared. So same goes here, greater than equal to 0. And then we have z squared. So greater than equal to 0 too. Okay, so to find the range now, alright, to find the range, so means that our range, sorry, or you can just write f, the range of function is equal to, so function, so since each of the variable is greater and equal to 0, so hence our function gonna be f greater and equal to 0. Okay, or we can also write like this, f element of 0 to infinity. Okay, you can also write like this. Alright, so this is for domain and also the range. Okay, now we go to the second questions. So sketch the level surface for f x y z is equal to c. Okay, now they give you the value of c is equal to 9. Okay, they give you the value of c is equal to 9. So sketch the level surface, and you have x minus 3 squared plus with y squared plus with z squared is equal to 9. Okay, when you see the equation here, okay, this one is a sphere. Okay, a sphere. Alright, so with a radius of 3. So 3 squared. Okay, now we are going to find the trace. Okay, find the trace. So trace for x when x is equal to 3. So if x is equal to 3, so you're going to have y squared plus z squared is equal to 3 squared. So this is for the first trace. Why you want to find the trace? Because you want to sketch the level surface. Okay, we need to find the trace first. So next, we find the trace when y is equal to 0. and y is equal to 0. So you're gonna have plus with z squared is equal to 3 squared. Okay. So this one, you know that you're gonna have a it's like a circle, okay, with center at z is equal to 3, 0. Okay, and radius 3. Okay, and then you need to find the trees when z is equal to 0. So when z is equal to 0, so you're gonna have so this one is also a circle, but with center so radius is equal to 3. Okay, now after we have all the trees, so we want to sketch the graph, okay, the level surface, okay, sorry, sketch the level surface. So you draw the axis first. So the axis and then y axis, and then you draw for the x axis. Okay, all right, so now we want to sketch for y squared plus z squared is equal to 3. Okay, y squared plus z squared, y squared plus z squared is equal to 3. Okay, so that one is a circle, alright, a circle. Okay, then we have at z with center 3, 0. Okay, center 3, 0. So we draw at z first lah, xy plane first. So center 3, 0. So 3, center 3, 0. Okay, with radius 3 at z. So we write here. So this one is for red color one, alright. For red color one is we have so radius 3. Okay, then for the blue color one is we have y squared plus z squared is equal to 3 squared. Right, next the next one is for the xy. So you're gonna have a center of xy So 30 with radius 3. Radius 3, give it. Okay. Alright. Okay. Alright. So now we draw for the purple one first. With center 30, radius 3. Okay. So this one is a circle. So let's draw this one. Oh, wait, back. Okay. So this is for the purple one. Center 30, radius 3. Okay, now we draw for the red color one. Red color one is XZ. Alright, XZ with center 30, 2 and radius 3. Okay, and radius 3. Okay, and then we want to draw for the blue color one. For the blue color one, so this is a circle. Circle with center 0, 0 here. Okay, so YZ. YZ. Okay, YZ. Alright. So this one YZ. So here is -3. So 3, so that one YZ. Alright. So you're gonna have keep it. Okay. Alright. So this one will be a sphere. Alright, will be a sphere. Okay. So here the level surface. Okay. Level surface when C is equal to 9. Okay, when C is equal to 9. Alright? Okay. So this is for these questions. Alright, so now let's go to the next question. Okay, let's go to the next question. Okay. So given here, f(x,y,z) is equal to 4x squared plus y squared and then plus this one. Okay, this is your function given. So first thing first, they ask you to find the domain and also the range. Okay, so now we find the domain first. Okay, so you can see here, the domain consists of 3 variables, so x, y, and also z. X, y, and also z. So the domain of the range x, y, z. Okay. So since everything is a square value, so meaning that it can be, there is no restriction, so it can be any number. So we can write as okay. Alright, then for the range, alright, for the range of the function, since the first variable is f is 4x squared, so meaning that it must be greater and equal to 0. Same goes to the y squared, it must be greater and equal to 0. And same goes here. So greater and equal to 0. Okay, so means that our function will greater and equal to 0. Okay, so the range of the function f greater and equal to 0. Alright, so this is for domain and also the range. Now we want to sketch the level surface. Okay, for the second question, they ask you to sketch the level surface for f(x,y,z) is equal to c, where c is equal to 1. Okay, now we want to sketch, okay? So the function that we have is equal to 1. Okay, so we rearrange the equation. Okay, we rearrange the equation. So you're gonna get okay. So this one will look like ellipsoid equation. So we modify again. So this one gonna be in square value. So this is 1 squared. Okay, it's equal to 1. Alright, so this is ellipsoid. Okay, this function is ellipsoid. Ellipsoid. Alright. So now we want to sketch the level curve. So before we want to sketch the level curve, so we need to find the trace, okay? So trace when x is equal to 0. So you're gonna have So it means that this is ellipse. We are referring to ellipse with variable yz. Okay, and the center is 0, 1, 2. Alright, then we find trace when y is equal to 0. When y is equal to 0, so we're gonna have okay. So now we can have okay, after we modify the equation, so this one is a circle with center at z is equal to 0, 1 over 2. Okay, and the radius is equal to 1 over 2. Alright, then we need to find the trace when z is equal to 0. Sorry, z is equal to 1 over 2. So we're gonna have okay. So this is an ellipse, okay. With variable xy, center of 0, 0. Alright, so now we are going to draw the level surfaces. So draw the axis first. Okay. Alright. So now okay, wait. Okay. So for this one, alright. You have three functions. So the first one is so this is the third one. Trace. Alright, it's okay. Okay, we draw for trace when z is equal to 1 over 2 first. Okay, so z is equal to 1 over 2 with center 0, 0. Z is equal to 1. Z is equal to 1 over 2. So 1 over 2 is here. So this is 1. Okay, 1 over 2 is there. So this is a ellipse, and ellipse ellipse. So center 0, 1, 2. Okay. And then this one is negative 1 and 1. Negative 1 and 1. Okay. Ellipse center 0, 0. Ellipse center 0, 0. Alright. So this is XY. XY. Okay. So this is an ellipse. Oh my god. Okay. So this is ellipse. So here is 1. So here is negative 1. Okay. So next, so this is for ellipse, this one. Circle this one. Okay. So what we are doing now is for the purple color one. So next, we are doing for this one, for this one. Okay. So the red color one, so this is a circle with center, with radius 1/2, center 0, 1/2. So this is XZ, right? This is XZ. So circle, alright, circle. Radius 1/2, 1/2, okay. Radius 1/2. So meaning that okay. So means that here is 1. Okay. Alright, now we are going into this one. So this is an ellipse. Ellipse, YZ 0, 1, 2, YZ. So YZ, this is YZ. Okay, YZ. YZ. Center 0, 1. Center 0, 1, 2. And this one. Okay. So means that oh my god. Okay. So this is the thing. Okay. So this is our level surface. when c is equal to 1. Okay, when c is equal to 1. Alright? Okay, done for this one. Okay, done for this one. Okay. Can or not? Okay, last one. Okay, last one. We try the last questions. Okay. So for this one, given f(x,y,z) is equal to z minus square root x squared plus with y squared. Okay. So here, alright. So the domain for this one. Domain. Our domain here is x, y, z. Okay. So, but then here, okay, we have a restriction because we have a square root. Okay, we have a square root. So let's see our function of xy. Variable xy is equal to -1 and -1. Okay. So we're going to have a square root of 1 squared plus with -1 squared. Okay, so we're going to have a square root 2. So this one is greater and equal to 0. Okay, so the function is defined for all values of x, y, z. Of x, y, z, and then the expression inside inside the square root must be non-negative. So this is the restriction for square root. So since the square root is always defined. So hence our domain z okay, so this is for domain. Alright, domain. Okay. So for the range, now we want to find for the range. Okay, for the range. So for range, okay, since for the first one we have square root x squared and 0, so it's greater than 0 because it is a square root. So our function of f z minus of must be less than and equal to z, since from z, okay? And also the value of f can range from negative infinity grows larger up to the value of z. Of z when z is equal to, when x is equal to 0 and y is equal to 0. Okay, so our range of function f element of negative infinity and z. Okay, so this is the range. Alright, so now we are going to find the level surface. Okay, we are going to find the level surface. So the functions that we have is, so given here, where c is equal to 1, right? So it means that we're gonna have z minus with square root x squared plus with y squared is equal to 1. Okay, so we're gonna have x squared plus with y squared is equal to z minus 1. Okay, so now z minus with 1. Okay, so we sketch a few level curves. Okay, we need to sketch a few level curves. Sketch a few level curves. So what if when z is equal to 1, so we're gonna have y squared is equal to 0. So we will have the 0. So this one satisfied when xy is equal to 0, 0. Okay, then what if when z is equal to 2? Because we are finding level curves. So we have x squared plus with y squared. So this one is equal to 1. So we're gonna have a circle here with radius of 1. Okay, then when z is equal to 3. So 3 minus 1 is 2. So we're gonna have, okay, so now we are going to draw the level curve of, so y and then this one is x. So the first one is so this one is a dot, x squared plus with y squared is equal to 0. So this one is a dot here. Okay. And then we're gonna have a square with radius 1. Square with radius 1. And then we're gonna have a square with radius 2. In the center. Okay, so here, so this is for z is equal to 1. So z is equal to 2, and then z is equal to 3 here. Okay, so this is a contour map. Alright, this is a contour map. Alright, now we want to sketch the level surface. Okay, so to sketch, in order for us to sketch the level surface, you need to find the trees. So trees when x is equal to 0. Trees when x is equal to 0. So x is equal to 0. So you're gonna have Z. So this one gonna be a V shape here. Okay, V shape. Since we have Z is equal to, let's say we have this one. Z is equal to square root. Okay, Z, if we draw this one, how we know that this one is a V shape? So Z is equal to square root y squared is equal to this one. This is a V shape. Okay, let's see we have, so now we have Z is equal to square root y squared plus with 1. Okay, you need to identify carefully whether this one is a V shape or a U shape. So if plus 1, so it means that the graph will be here. Okay, so that's why we know that this one is a V shape. Okay, that's why we know that this one is a V shape. Alright. So now, when 3 is equal to y is equal to 0. 3 when y is equal to 0. Trace when y is equal to 0. So you're gonna have, so x squared plus with 1 is equal to z. Okay. Alright, so now we are going to draw the level surface. Okay. Alright. So x. So y. Okay. So now okay, we have the contour map already. So z is equal to 1. So at z is equal to 1. So here is 1. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so z is equal to 1 is just a dot, alright, just a dot, and then z is equal to 2, that one is a circle with radius 1. Okay. So the first one is just a dot. So the first one is just a dot here. Okay, and then this one is a circle. Okay. And then the last one is a circle with radius 2. Make it bigger. Oh my god, wait. Okay, so now after we draw the contour map, so now we are going to draw the trees. Alright, so for the trees, this one is a V shape. Alright, V shape. So for the black color one, so y squared plus with 1 is equal to z. Y squared, so y squared z. Okay. No. Okay. Wait. Okay, wait. Okay. So here is 1. Okay. And then for this one, okay. Okay. So all at 1. All at 1, okay? Alright. So this is the level surface. So when C is equal to 1. Okay, when C is equal to 1. Okay. Alright, done. So here, next we have question 10 here. So you may please do this one. Okay, try. Okay, refer to the examples that we have done just now and try to answer question 10 here. Okay, alright. So thank you.